All right, now we're doing 7Q sorting dictionaries. This is by C.M. Gerber, and 91% of the people like it. Python dictionaries are inherently unsorted. So what do we do if we need to sort the contents of a dictionary? We're going to create a function that returns a sorted list of key value tuples. In JavaScript, it's an array of 2 items. Okay. And the list must be sorted by the value and be sorted largest to smallest. Gotcha. So whatever's over here, we're gonna sort it descending order. So 3, 2, 1, 6, 4, 2, and whatever. You can all like this. Also, it has to do. We have to deal with letters as well as numbers. So we're going to have a bunch of stuff we got to do. So right here, let's just start by putting this in concise syntax by saying const here, sort dict equals this, and then we're going to say console.log, and then we're going to start right here. We're doing the console.log because it's easier to test while we go. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get all these keys in an array, right? So that we can eventually turn it into something that looks like this. So to get those keys in an array so that we can access the object, we're going to use this Object.keys method, which returns an array of a given object's own enumerable property names, all right? Iterated in the same order that a normal loop would. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say Object.keys, and then we're going to put that in there, all right? And let's test it out to see what it looks like. All right, you see now we've got 1, 2, 3 in one array, and down here we've got A, B, C as well. All right, so now we're going to turn it into something that looks like this, a little array with the key and the value pair in there. So how we're going to do that is we're going to use the map method, which creates a new array populated with the results of calling a provided function on every element in the calling array. So the syntax we're going to use is going to be map. We're going to use the arrow function syntax, and we're going to have map here, an element with an arrow, and then the expression that we're going to make every element do, basically. So we're going to say .map, we're going to say element, and what we want is the key here and the value here. So since the key in this key is right here, it's going to be the element. We're going to have an array here. We're going to say element, and then over here we're going to have dict element, so that it'll get the value in there. Let's test it out, see what it looks like. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, and then A, B, C with 4, 2, 1, and 6, 2, and 4. So we're on the right track, but we've got to get these numbers to turn into, these number strings to turn into numbers. And to do that, we're going to use the number constructor, which creates a number object, but when it's called instead as a function, it performs type conversion to a primitive number, which is usually more useful, and that's what we're going to use it for. So we're going to get this, wrap the element in a parenthesis right here, and we're going to say number, just like that. Now let's test it out again. All right, now this is numbers, but now it's not a number down here. So we've got to do something to say if it's not a number, do this, and if it is a number, do this. If it's not a number, just put the element in there. So to do that, we're going to use the ternary operator, and that's the only JavaScript operator that takes 3 operands: a condition followed by a question mark, then an expression to execute if the condition is truthy, followed by a colon, and finally the expression to execute if the condition is falsy. And this operator is frequently used as an alternative to if-else statements, and that's how we're going to use it also. So over here, we're going to say let's get this thing out first. We got to use this isNan function. And the isNan function determines whether a value isNan is not a number or not. All right, so basically with the syntax is we put isnan here and the value. So we're going to put isnan right here, isnan, and inside of these parentheses we're going to say element, element, that's not it. All right, there we go. And if that's the case, we're going to say element, and then we're going to say, if not, do this. Let me just bring this down so it's easier to see. All right. So basically, if this is not a number, we're going to put the element, which would be like A, B, or C. And if it is a number, we're going to put number element like that. Let's test it out, make sure it works. Good. All right, let me bring this down to just from this screen. All right. So basically now it's got the ones and the A's and whatnot. All right. So now we've got to sort this thing by the values, like it says right here, largest to smallest. So for that, we're going to come down here and we're going to do a dot sort. Let's just bring this all the way over here because it's not going to be that long. So we're going to do the dot sort, and if you don't know about the sort method, it sorts the elements of an array in place and returns the reference to the same array not sorted. The default sort order is ascending, built upon converging the elements into strings, then comparing their sequences of UTF-16 code unit values. So basically, it just does it in like true alphabetical order, even the numbers counting. But it doesn't matter since we're not dealing with numbers. All right, so what we're going to do here, let me show you the syntax we're using. We're going to use this arrow function syntax, which we're going to have A and B as the parameters. We're going to have an arrow right here and then a function right here, an expression right here to do what we need it to do. So we're going to say A comma B, and we're going to have basically if this number is negative, like let's say we have -1 right here. If it's negative, B will go over to the, it'll do a switch, and if it's positive, it'll stay the same. Let's test it out just so I can show you. So right here we've got 3, 2, 1 going down, and then CBA. And if it was positive, test it out. 1, 2, 3, ABC. All right. So number 1, we're going to be dealing with these ones. So we can't even mess with that. So we're going to say B at 1 minus A at 1. So if the B is smaller than the A, then so like let's say B is 1 and A is 2, then it'll give us a -1, which means it'll switch. And if B is 2 and A is 1, it'll give us a positive, which means it'll stay the same. Let's test it out just so I can show you. And write like this: 3, 2, 1, and then 6, 4, 2. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So let's bring this over here. Take this console.log out of here. Let me just do something like that. I don't know why. Just why not? All right, test it out. Looks good. Attempt it. All right, submit it. And you can see here they pretty much did the same thing. They did it in mixed style, which, I mean, if you want to, why not? Same here, mixed style. And this one did it in, they did it something different, and whatever. All right, so let's go over to mine. Just me on this one. I could have moved this over one more to get it in line with this, but whatever. No big deal. It worked. Very much like it, and we'll see you next time.